everybody. Today we're going to do some chicken Alfredo sauce. I'm going to follow somebody's recipe that I found on Pinterest, but I'm probably going to adapt it a little bit to our family. It's pretty much the same one that I always make, but I'm only going to put a stick and a half of butter in it. It calls for two, well, it calls for one stick, but I'm doubling the recipe, so that would be 2 sticks. But I'm going to take out about half of that. This type of Alfredo sauce is done with cream cheese. It's just real easy to make and really forgiving. So it's usually the one that I always use. I don't really like the jarred type that you get in the store. It kind of tastes bad to me. This tastes more real, if that makes sense, and more homemade. So we're gonna show you how we make this. I've already took about I don't know how many breasts it was. I want to say about 3 chicken breasts. I have already boiled them and chopped them, and I've got those ready. And I'll add those in the very end. At the very end, we need to try to make the sauce first, and then if we need to put anything in it, we'll do it then. But you can also eat this without meat. So right now we're just waiting for our butter to melt. It's a stick and a half. I'm trying to get it to melt quickly. I'm sorry. Alright, I'll see you in just a few minutes. Let me get this melted. Okay, so the butter's pretty much melted. So you need to take 2. Well, I'm going to take 2 bricks of cream cheese. And I'm going to add it to the pan. Add it to my butter. Now I'm just scraping off the excess. Putting in the pan. Okay, that was 1 brick. Okay, here's the second one. You have to kind of, sorry, it's just not a pretty sight. You have to kind of be in a hurry because your butter will burn. So you have to hurry up and get it in there. And then start using a whisk to kind of break it up a little. And if you can cut it up into cubes, that'll kind of help, you know, get it broke up faster. Okay, so now it looks like a big mess, but trust me, this is what it's supposed to look. You also, I need to tell you this, the broth off of the chicken, you need to save that because you're going to need it. I mean, you can always put in like box broth, canned broth, whatever you've got, but I mean, we already made some, so this is kind of like how it's supposed to look in the beginning. Okay, now I'm gonna need 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, but before I add that, I'm gonna go ahead and add my garlic powder. You could put minced garlic in if you wanted to, but it's just as easy to do this. That's about 3 teaspoons. Go ahead and whisk that in before you add anything else. Alright, the next thing we're going to add is some heavy whipping cream, and we're going to need about 2 cups. I have used half and half before, and I have used milk. Milk is probably not a good idea. Half and half, it's okay. Heavy whipping cream is probably your best bet. So, let me get that ready. So I'm going to need 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, and I need to add it slowly. So I'm going to add about a half of 1 cup. I'm going to whisk. Now your chicken broth and your heavy whipping cream is your liquid. So that's what's going to thin all this out, make it look like, you know, it's supposed to, make it come together. Alright, that was half of 1 of the cups. Here here's the other half, so that's 1 cup total. And then we added another, and then add another whole cup. And we will do that half at a time. See, as you can see, it's starting to come together. Okay, so half. Okay. Now, and the last half of the whipping cream. Okay, so the next thing is we're also going to need 2 cups of broth, and I'm hoping I have 2 cups. Okay, so we need to do half chicken broth. Stir. And then do your other half. Okay. Okay. You're going to keep this going and simmering until it starts to bubble a little. Just trying to make sure all my butter is incorporated. So if you still see it where it's kind of separating, you need to kind of whisk it on in there again. Now you need to have medium-low heat at this point, because you will scorch this, and it'll still taste okay, but it'll be burnt. So probably not the best thing to do. Okay, now the next thing you have to add is 8 ounces of Parmesan cheese, shredded. I've got about 10 ounces, maybe 8, which I really need more because I'm doubling this, but this will still work. So what we gotta do next is add the salt and pepper. I'm sorry, Parmesan cheese, then salt and pepper. So we'll sprinkle it in. Mix it in. Sprinkle it in. Just keep going. And I like mine a little bit thin. I also got a house full of boys, so it goes a little bit further. And probably what I'll do to see how this cheese is acting, I may actually add just a little bit more chicken broth. Because I want it to be thick and I want it to coat everything, but I don't want it to the point of, you know, it's a big block of cheese either. Okay, a little bit more parm. Now you can substitute like less fat. I wouldn't do fat-free. Less fat cream cheese. I wouldn't change the parm. Parm's gonna have to go in there. I wouldn't even really use less fat cream cheese. I would use, you know, full fat, but I mean, you can. I've used that before too. Okay. So now it looks kind of like a white gravy, but it's still just a little bit not incorporated because that cheese is still trying to be cheese instead of being liquidy cheese. Alright, so we'll put the last of the parm in. And it's really not hard to make. I've even froze it before, so it's just really not that hard to make. I pick this anytime, and so do my kids, over the jarred sauce. It's just way better. And the cream cheese provides a really good base, and it's easy to find, so you shouldn't have a hard time finding the ingredients at all. Okay, now I'm gonna thin it down just a little bit more with some chicken broth, and the chicken broth will also add flavor, so it's a little bit better than water. Okay. Now, you let it sit here and kind of bubble just a little bit, but not too much. You need to sit here and watch it, because if not, it's gonna scorch. And while I'm waiting, I'm gonna put just a little bit of salt in there. Not much. Maybe a half a teaspoon. It just depends on your taste. And I'm gonna put a little pepper in there too. Well, probably a lot of pepper. Okay, and also we've also did red pepper flakes before, and that's really good if you like it really spicy. Okay, now very last thing. It's really not started to bubble quite yet, but it's good and hot. I can see the steam coming off of it. The last thing you need to add, if you want to, is the chicken. At this point, this would be ready to serve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my heat off. I'm going to take this cheesy whisk out, and we are going to add the chicken that I cooked previously and that chopped up. And if it seems like it's more chicken than sauce, you can still add just a little bit more chicken broth. But do it a little bit at a time. Don't go crazy and add a quart because you think that would work. Little bit at a time. See, this is perfect. This is about 3 to 4 chicken breasts. And this is, I doubled the recipe. So I've got, still got chicken, but it's still got a lot of sauce too. Okay, that's it. So I'll show you the finished product. I'll plate it up here in just a second. Okay, so here's the finished product. Really simple Alfredo sauce over pasta. You can change the pasta. You can do any type of pasta. We just did some, let's see, I think it was rigatoni. Sprinkle a little bit of parsley on top. You don't have to do that either. And this does have chicken in it, but like I said, you can leave the chicken out. Real easy, real simple.